Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. The video you're about to watch is a little bit of a different one for the channel. So it was part of a video I recorded about hiking kits, how to put together a day hiking kit. If you want to know what I think is important to have with you for a day hike, oh, there's a damn cooler. We're gonna keep running, cooler or no. Anyways, if you want to know what I think is important to have in a day hiking kit, you can check out that video. I will link it somewhere in this video in the description in the end screen. But as I was recording for that video, I kind of went off on a tangent talking about a lot of things that are important to me, I guess. And I wanted to, I cut most of it out of that other video. The beginning part I'll leave in that other video. I haven't edited it yet, so I'll see what form that takes. But, you know, I thought they were really important thoughts that some of you guys might be interested in hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up momentarily so that we can cut over to me running my mouth some more. So let's do that, I guess. All right, I've decided I probably better not go any further, as much as I'd like to. Because I do have places to be later tonight, and I should probably shower before I go to said places. And if I decide that I'm gonna do a little more exploring around, I might get distracted and stay out here way longer than I should. So we're gonna go ahead and turn back around and get home. Plus, I've got an early shift tomorrow, so want to catch up on those Z's. I do want to talk a little bit about hiking. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video are hikers. I'm sure a lot of you really aren't. And that's okay. But you should be. I think some people get a little bit intimidated because they see, you know, stuff online of hikers, and they've got their, you know, super expensive kits. You know, they've got the high-end backpacks, they've got all the designer clothing, and they've got the fancy walking sticks, and you know, the whole 9 yards. And I think people get a little bit intimidated. I think they might think that there's a paywall, and there's really not, right? Just like with most things in life, keep it at your level. Yeah, you can spend a ton of money, and sometimes it'll be money well spent. I've got a pair of pants that cost me $100+ and they're awesome. I'm really glad I bought them. They've been so durable, definitely worth the money. But right now, I'm wearing a pair of $30 pants, and they work just fine. So don't be afraid to start hiking with what you've got. Right? Got a good pair of tennis shoes, maybe got a good pair of hiking boots. Go and do some hiking. I think the other thing that a lot of people that I've talked to, at least, like I said, again, I've got a lot of friends who never get out into the mountains. And it's because a lot of people don't realize how accessible hiking is. A lot of people don't realize that there are probably hiking trails all over your town or outside your town. There's probably a couple state parks within a short drive. Something like that. Something that is accessible with good trails. You know, that does make a big difference. I'm someone who likes to do a lot of off-trail hiking and adventuring and peak bagging and stuff like that. But, you know, good maintained trails are awesome, especially for getting started. So it is accessible. In fact, hiking is, geez, it's one of the most accessible hobbies there is, because it's, you know, literally just outside on the planet we live on. You know, be careful with private property and stuff like that. I don't want anyone getting shot, but you get what I'm getting at. And then the other thing that I hear a lot of people talk about with hiking is maybe they doubt their physical capabilities. I've got a good buddy who is like that. And he never wanted to go hiking because he thought that he didn't really have what it took. And he did go hiking with a couple of people who were just absolute assholes, set a pace that he couldn't keep, and then teased him for not keeping that pace. That is awful. That's atrocious behavior. I hate that kind of stuff. Enjoy the outdoors at your speed, right? Go at your own pace. Find people who are willing to keep that pace with you, or find people who are kind of, in the same, I don't know, skill level as you, and go hiking. And the great thing is the more you do it, the better you'll get. And you don't have to do some insane, crazy hike either. Start off with the smaller ones, right? Work your way up. There's no such thing as a lame hike, right? You've got easy hikes, you've got hard hikes, but all of them could be worth it to someone, right? There's no such thing as a hike there's no such thing as a hike that sucks. I have seen a couple hikes that do suck, but for the most part, they're all awesome. But we're made for this planet, right? We're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be stepping over the rocks and the bushes, climbing these mountains, walking around these valleys. So no matter your age, your athletic capabilities, how in shape or out of shape you are, find a way to get outside and do a hike, do something that's on your level. Just get out and enjoy it. I am very passionate about getting people outdoors because I love nature. I love this planet we live on. It's an amazing planet. And I want people to experience it. It's given me a lot of joy, being out here, my thoughts in the rocks, right? And I'm a firm believer that if something makes you happy, you can only multiply that happiness by sharing it with others. And so that's what I want to try and do. And that's the way that's one of the reasons why I like to make videos where I'm out here hiking around and stuff, because there are some people who can't get outside, right? And I understand that. Whether it's disabilities, or whether it's, other restrictions, there are people who can't get outside. And so if I can actually share a little bit of this with my viewers, I want to do that. Another thing too is not every one of you is ever going to get to come out and hike this trail here. So maybe I've given you a little bit of a, sneak peek at it. Maybe you can follow along and, feel like you're on the hike with me. That means a lot to me as well. And the other reason I'm so passionate about getting people outdoors is because I want to support our nation's parks, our national monuments, our national parks, our state parks, our natural historic landmarks, you name it, right? Because these areas are important. Very, very important. It's important to conserve the landscape, right? I'm in the Oregon Peaks National Monument. We are taking care of this environment, this ecosystem, protecting it from exploitation and harm. That's really, really important. It's important culturally too, though, right? Not just to native peoples, which of course it is just supremely important that we respect, their ancestral lands. But it's also important to any of us who live in this country right now, right? This is something that we should be proud of. I'm in the Chihuahuan Desert right now. This is the most biodiverse desert on the entire planet. That is something that I think all of us as Americans should be proud of. That should be something that we're like, wow, damn, that is cool. That's in our country. I love that. I want to protect that. And the best way to protect our natural, gifts is by supporting things like our national parks and things like that. Tourism is a great thing for our country, but it's also good because it incentivizes the government to protect areas like this. Now, as much as I hate seeing tourists leaving trash in places, don't do that. Most people are respectful. And I think it's because most people realize that this is important. This is who we are. You know, the land that we live on connects us as individuals, as different cultures. It gives us our food, it gives us our water, it gives us a place to lay down and sleep. But even more than that, it just becomes part of you. And this is something I've always felt living in New Mexico. You know, they call it the land of enchantment, and gosh, I am under its spell for sure. Every single time I'm out here, I feel more myself than I ever do anywhere else. I can feel it in my veins, right? There's something ancient and powerful and captivating. You just feel it. I'm not a particularly religious person, not even a spiritual person, but the connection I feel to this sotol plant, to these freaking rhyolite chunks, to the skies, these mountains, it means more to me than just about anything else. And again, it's something I want to share with people, and it's something that I think we should all be proud of. Last summer, I did a backpacking trip. 3 days and 2 nights out through the desert. I got back home, and my roommate, you know, he wanted to hear about it. I was telling him, you know, all the stories. While I was out there, I actually got caught in a flash flood in the wee hours of the morning, which was pretty dramatic. But he told me, he said, I don't know what it is with you and those hills and that desert. He says, I couldn't do it. It's too hot, it's too dry, it's dusty. There's animals, snakes and scorpions. It's ugly. And I don't stand for that kind of talk. And I told him it's not. When you're actually out there, you become a part of it. And you start to realize how dynamic, how beautiful, and how connected everything is. I think this applies a lot with becoming a desert rat. This is important when you're talking about exploring deserts. You've got to meet it halfway, right? You have to meet the desert on its own terms, in a way. Whenever you go out there, you are a little bit of an interloper, right? You are a little bit of an interloper. You and your fancy shoes, your backpack, your gear, your tent. You're an interloper. And you can't force the desert to conform to you. You can't force it to take care of you. Instead, what you have to do is you have to say, all right, here I am. Show me. Teach me. Lead me. And you move with it. You don't push against it. You don't try to bend it or rip it. You let it change you. You let it shape you. You're the mold. And these hills, these are the hands. And they're going to shape you. And that's how you survive in an area like this, right? You've got to learn. Where's the water? Where's the shade? Where's the food? You can't just make it provide itself. And I think that's something that's taught me a lot about myself is doing those backpacking trips where I go out into the desert and I learn a couple of lessons. I get my ass kicked a couple of times, right? Get stung by a scorpion, get flooded out by a flash flood, get caught in a dust storm. Always learn something though, and I always appreciate it. And next time I come back, I'm that much better, and I'm ready for the next challenge. One of the things I like to do, ask anyone that knows me, is I love building, if we're going camping or something, I love building fires using primitive methods, just because it's a challenge. When I go camping, I very rarely use a tent. I'll either sleep on the ground cowboy style, put my bedroll out by the fire, or I'll build a shelter, using whatever's around. And it's not because I'm weird. I absolutely am. It's because it helps me to connect. And it helps me to push myself and challenge myself. And it's good for me. It's good for my character. It helps me grow. And I think that's what we're all here to do, right? Grow. The world that we have constructed for ourselves in the good old year 2025, in a lot of ways, I feel like it's completely antithetical to our natures. We slave away sitting at a desk. We slave away making the guy above us a little bit richer. I don't mean God, I mean like a CEO. You probably understood that. And it just feels wrong. People that do really, really well in business, in corporate sectors, whatever, they're the kind of people who enjoy twisting the world around them to suit their needs, right? They want to put themselves on top, and that's great for driving business. That's great for your bank account. But I don't think it's a good way to live. I really don't. And that's one of the things that I love so much about being outdoors. Things are simpler, right? You can condense everything down to, I need to get back to my home alive tonight, right? Not quite that dramatic all the time, but things just become simpler. One foot in front of the other, right? And for once, instead of trying to twist and manipulate the world around you into a form that serves you best, instead of trying to subjugate everything around you, instead of trying to elevate yourself, put yourself on top, push for that promotion, you just have to come to terms with who you are as a person, right? You have to realize that there's some things that are beyond your control. If it starts raining right now, there's nothing I can do to stop that. But what can I do to help adjust to that? How am I going to handle that? That's the thing that you learn about yourself. What kind of person are you? When things get rough, what do you do? And I think when it comes to our day-to-day lives, being able to adjust and adapt and grow is more important than control and dominance and manipulation. I am not someone who is particularly good at, the whole 9 to 5, working to put money into a CEO's pocket, kissing up to your boss to get that promotion and, this, that, and the other. I'm not about all of that. It feels frivolous to me rather than seeming good, right? Rather than like trying to put on a show to show everyone, oh, this is how good I am at XYZ. I'd rather just know that I'm good at something. I'd rather work to become good at that thing, to become confident in my abilities as a person, right? And I think that helps shape the relationships that you make in your life. I think it helps make it more real, you know? I know a lot of people who define themselves by their relationships. You know, who do I know? Who am I dating? XYZ. And a lot of times those people are shallow and hollow. For me, I think I used to be one of those people. I used to put a lot of stock into what other people thought of me, right? But out here, no one's looking at me. No one's around. So who am I when I'm by myself? Who am I when there's no one around? I think that's the important question that we all have to answer. And for me at least, the answer to that question I found by being outside, by climbing mountains, by hiking through the desert, by building shelters in forests, right? That taught me who I am, and that made me comfortable and confident with who I am. And that's helped me to build better, more meaningful relationships in my life today. And I honestly have just been rambling for the past couple of minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to put all this footage in a video or not. But getting outside is so good for you. It's so good for your body. It's so good for your mind. So good for your soul, if you believe in those kind of things. So get outside more. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you got something out of that. And go outside. It's good for you. It's important. We should all be going outside as much as we can. That's going to be it for today. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, comment below, and subscribe. Big shout out to my channel members right here at the Cowboy level. I appreciate everything they do for the channel. If you want to become a member and support me directly, there's a button down below. As for the rest of you hooligans, I'll see you in the next one. Adios.